Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the RiskWire Webcast. Today, we will discuss some of the challenges that millennials and Gen Z face in their quest to buy a home. I'm Reena Agrawal, Research Economist at Veros Real Estate Solutions. Millennials and Gen Z feel that life is far more tougher for them than it was for their parents at the same age. Since the 1960s, home prices have increased far more rapidly than incomes, and the millennials and Gen Z are grappling not only with inflation but also with student debt. The buzz in the housing market is that mortgage rates are coming down, but they are still at just under 7%. And together with sky high home prices, affordability is a major hurdle. 2023, the median sale price of a home in the US was $400,000. And with a standard 20% down payment, that is a substantial $80,000 that one would require to save up to buy a home. Millennials and Gen Z are getting creative in ways how they save up for a house. Some are working a side hustle to earn that extra cash, yet others are living with relatives or parents to save up on rent. And some are even asking for down payment contributions at the wedding registries. Let's find out what millennials and Gen Z think about housing affordability in the US. My first guest today is Kevin Bui. Kevin, would you like to tell a little bit about yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So I'm a Gen Z folk, and I currently work at Veros as a business intelligence analyst.
Kevin, Gen Z are finding it difficult to buy a home these days. What are your thoughts on that?
So coming from Gen Z, personally, I think it's difficult to purchase a home because housing prices have skyrocketed while overall income these past few years have remained more or less stagnant. And in addition to that, it's also quite challenging to secure a mortgage due to the current high interest rates, as well as the ongoing student loans that we have to make every day.
That's right. So, are you looking at some alternate ways to save up to buy a home, or are you pushing that decision to buy a home into the future sometime?
So right now, I don't think I can really purchase a home, but I'm looking to secure a mortgage by not only saving up and working my current job, but also looking into alternative side hustles such as like stock investments or e-commerce.
Thank you, Kevin, for your insights.
Right, anytime.
My next guest is Jon Flees. Jon, would you like to tell our viewers about yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Jon. I'm a data scientist here at Veros, and I currently rent an apartment complex.
Jon, what are your thoughts about Gen Z and millennials struggling to purchase a home?
That's a great question. I think right now we could actually classify it as a crisis with how difficult it is for Gen Z and millennials to get into housing. A couple of the big reasons for that, well, the biggest is going to be supply. There's a lot of demand, but no supply. We haven't really built many houses since 2008 when we had a crash because there was an oversupply. And so we never really bounced back from that. The interest rates going up actually helped stabilize this rapid increase of home valuations that we saw during the COVID years, unprecedented levels of growth, where it's made it very difficult for someone who didn't own a home prior to that. Now your mortgage payments are nearly double what they were prior to that time. So someone like myself who lives in an apartment complex, it's hard to go away from that and justify purchasing a home or even being able to buy a home. I mean, in California, where we are here, you have to make pretty much $120,000 a year to be able to afford a median priced home in the state. And that is, for my age group, 20 to 25, Gen Z, that's in the top 5 to 10% of income earners. So that's highly unlikely. So it's just really difficult time right now to purchase a home. And I don't think it's just because we're out here buying avocado toast.
That's so right. Thank you, Jon, for your thoughts on this.
Thank you for having me.
Jalen, can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm a data analyst in Veros. I was born and raised in China, and then I went to college in the US, and I end up here.
Jalen, what do you think about the difficulty that the Gen Z and millennials are facing with respect to buying a home? What is your personal experience?
Well, actually, I happen to be a Gen Z myself, and fortunately for me, I actually had a good support from my family, so I was able to purchase a home in the local markets. But because I'm living in an area where the house market a bit of, I would say, above the average in the States, not let alone the nationwide. So I actually, it's my case a little bit special. I actually rent a house, an apartment, and I'm living in it. But the property that I brought, I actually rented out. I think it's sort of investment that I think.
So you said you had help from your family, but do you think purchasing a home otherwise would have been easy for you, or would you have faced
It's
some difficulty?
Well, it's definitely not easy, and then I would say it's pretty difficult for a generation like us. I think because of several reasons. I think first of all, the area that we're living in has a very high rent costs, and then that takes into the factors that we it's hard for us to save up for our down payments, and then it's the post-COVID time, so we face certain of the economy uncertainty that of course. And then I think for our generation, at least I speak for myself and some of my friends, we tend to delay a life milestone. For example, marriage, having kids, having a families, and then as buying a home. I believe for my parents, they usually tend to do it in their like mid-20s, maybe late 20s. But for generations, again, speak for myself and my family, we tend to do it maybe in early 30 to get married, let alone buying a house. And then other than that, for my time when I was on the market for a house, it's actually I'm facing a lot of it's very high competitions. For example, I had to apply for a mortgage for a house, but then on the market they actually had tons of cash buyers, which which I'm hard to compete with. And then there are also for some houses there or home there looks really great, and then the one that I really want, it's always they have a bid offer or a higher offer than the ask price. So that's a competition on that one. And I think another thing brought into my attention is that after COVID, we actually had a lot more remotely full-time job opening on the markets. I think that also affect people or like a generation like me and my friend deciding where to buy a home for locations. And then I think last but not least, I want to say the wage growth, it's actually not on pace with the rising cost of living. I think that's also it's a big factor, especially if you take at the house price trend after COVID, it spikes like 30 or 40%, whereas everybody's wage growth definitely could not catch up with that rate.
Thank you, Jalen, for your insights. It will be interesting to see how the housing market evolves. Thank you all for joining us. See you next time.
See you. Thank you.